Eli Rex, El Jefe, Mr. Glass Half Full, the revival.
Welcome back to New York Revival. I'm your man, Steve Harvey. I'm your man, El Jefe. I've been watching a lot of Family Feud lately. New York Revival, where it's not just sports, it's entertainment. El Jefe with you. Big man, Spiro, Mr. Glass Half Full. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on? I'm doing good, man. Nothing to report, nothing crazy over the weekend. We are in these little dog days of the football offseason right now. We're trying to get by. It's right before the NBA and NHL playoffs. We're scraping our way through the dog days here. I love being here with you and our faithful leader. Who's missing today, but I see him out there. I see him out there in the chat, always representing. We miss you. We want you back soon. Hopefully, enjoying your family. And we just, like I said, we're a tripod over here, and we pick each other up. Sometimes family's always not sometimes. Family's always first. Let's say that. And the show goes on with us, though. The show goes on.
Of course.
We're having a good time.
Of course. Am I the only one that watches a lot of Family Feud at night? Or
hell no.
Okay. Steve
Feud,
Harvey is the best thing that ever happened to
ever.
television. Jay is joining us. I think he's in Mexico, and he's still joining us.
See,
this is commitment is unbelievable. Eli Rex. Every time I say his name, I hear Ransom. I just hear the song Eli Rex.
Eli Rex.
Mr. Glass Half Full. The Revival.
Know it.
There was kind of a big basketball game on last night. Also, do I look like the Rams coach, Sean McVay, right now?
Dude, I mean, that's not a bad thing.
I feel like I have Sean McVay vibes going on right now.
That's not a bad thing.
Did you watch the game last night? UConn,
did.
San Diego State. Kind of a weird 20. UConn dominant. I followed your coattails. Spiro puts out a tweet yesterday. Take UConn minus 7.5, which is a lot of points in a championship game.
Yeah, dude.
But I didn't. You can't make any money unless you're betting a shitload
next step
on just the spread. So I took the over too, which I was so uncomfortable with after 15 minutes when San Diego State had 12 points still. And then they just caught some fire. They started battling. What's up to everybody in the chat?
What's up, everybody?
I see you, Precious.
What's up, Precious?
I see
Precious'
Bill.
birthday. Hey, we almost forgot Precious's birthday last week. And Precious, we're sorry. We shouted you out when we knew. As soon as we knew, we're sorry. We apologize. I hope you had a happy birthday, a very happy birthday.
The happiest of birthdays. She's a day one.
I'm kind of sad that the tournament's over, man. Like I was hot, dude. I was hot. Last 30 days. I'm not gonna say how many bets.
Are you reading? You're reading stats off right now. Go ahead.
We're up big. 19 units. I was on fire with this basketball tournament, man. I didn't want it to end because I was making some money hand over fist, man.
Were you tweeting all of your bets? Like, did you text me once? Did you text me once? Hey, I'm on a heater.
A lot of times,
I don't want to mess up your bets. But
listen, yeah, like it's like you play that game where you hate jinxing the bet.
I know.
I hate saying it out loud, but I also want to make my friends money. So I try to do my best, try and give you guys a little this, a little that. And a lot of times I was drunk and I forgot to tell everybody. So we had a little boys' weekend the first weekend. That couldn't get any tweets out at that point. You know how it goes.
Well, listen, in the future, if you're feeling confident, you feel like you got control over the situation, I want you to loop me in, okay? And I'll do
that's what I did. That's what I did it for you last night.
You technically did do that last time, okay?
Yeah. But the game itself, kind of again, the story of UConn's tournament. They had a nice road, and they were hitting their peak at the right time. They're one of the most talented teams all year, and it just makes the board fell perfectly for them. Like Miami in the Final Four, San Diego State. Tough San Diego State team, but UConn was UConn.
Just undermatched.
Hurley's a Hurley. And, Jersey City's own, cutting down the nets at the end of the day.
Dude, the Hurley name is a big deal.
For people in New Jersey, yeah.
It really is.
We're big Hurley people over here in Jersey. But, started with his dad, one of the most winningest high school basketball coach in Jersey history. Maybe in the whole world. I gotta be honest with you. It might be. Someone have to fact check that, but it might be the whole world.
Maybe on planet Earth, but we'll get back to you on that. Monty,
and then Bobby did his thing, and then UConn turned down a Nets fan. So it was fun, but I guess the big question is, did you watch any of the other the women's Final Four and championship game?
Yeah, man.
Where there's
a lot of hoopla.
Big stuff.
Going on.
Big stuff.
I don't use the word hoopla very often, but I feel like
it's an underused word.
But did it work right here? Did I use it right?
I like it.
I think there's so many good things that came from that game, the women's game, and it may have overshadowed the men's game for the first time ever.
Oh yeah.
But let's back up a second. This Caitlin Clark chick is so good for the game of women's basketball. She is the Steph Curry they've been waiting for. She'll pull the trigger from anywhere. How's it going?
Hey! So Jonesy.
Get out there.
Go beat somebody.
Get out there and beat somebody. But she pulls it from anywhere. She'll pull it up from the parking lot. She hits threes, but obviously she talks shit. And Angel Reese didn't like that. No, and I think this is like the second best thing that could have happened to women's basketball is a little controversy and a little attention on their game, which they need, right? Like, this is good for women's sports. It's good for women's basketball. This game, like, I'll be honest, Caitlin Clark was the only player I could name 2 days ago in the entire
100%.
Tournament. She was the only reason I tuned in to the championship game. So I'm just being honest. I haven't felt the need to tune into a women's college game before.
I'm with you. Now she put them on the map. She put Iowa on the map. She put WNBA. She's about to, but she made her name for herself. She was straight dominant. How many 40-point games did she post? And she had some swagger to her too. And when you have some swagger and you don't win in the end, expect a little bit of shit talking.
Yeah. So this is all over the news, right? Caitlin Clark, she was talking shit during the Louisville game. She's doing the "You Can't See Me," the John Cena thing, and
all good fun.
You don't have to. I think it's great. Yeah. I think it's all great, honestly.
Hell yeah!
And you don't have to like the timing of when Angel Reese did it back to her. But if you've ever played a fucking sport where someone was talking shit, if you wait till the end of the game when you have it won, guess what? It hurts more then. So that's why you do it then. And if you're a competitor and you've played like sports at a real competitive level, you understand exactly why that happened. And you have no problem with it. So I just want to show a clip real quick here. You see her doing it. This is actually the game before Louisville.
Yep.
So now look, she does it back to her. The game is wrapped up at this point. So yeah, she's kind of walking around. She's making sure, she's pointing it out. Caitlin Clark just ignores her the whole time. But she came out today. She was interviewed today, and she came out and said she had no problem with it. She shouldn't be criticized. So I think she had the right take, the right response. Then it becomes something way bigger.
Oh God,
way bigger than it has to. And to be honest, it sucks because if the roles were reversed, I bet Caitlin Clark would still be celebrated. So I do think it is fucked up, and it is a factor. But I think it's just all good for the sport, and it's just like shit talking in every game.
Dude, listen, you nailed it on the head. If you played competitive anything, you're in any point of your life, especially basketball. Basketball is a shit talking sport. I feel like that's what you do in it. And if you're dishing it out, you gotta be able to take it. And Caitlin Clark did take it. She walked right past. Angel Reese. She gave it to her. She gave it to her twice. And you know what? To Caitlin Clark's credit, she didn't react either. She was perfectly okay with it. Came out today, said it's awesome for the game. And I hate to compare it because I don't want this to sound sexist in any way. But
that's right. This isn't live or public.
Yes,
so this is.
It's almost like a league of their own. Like they put themselves on a map there. That's a moment that put them on a map, and it just was great to see. Great to get the talking points going and get more eyes on it. And you know what? Maybe next year the women's get on prime time too, and get on a Sunday, or a Monday game. That they are elevating. They are coming closer to the men's game, and you love to see it. So shout out to women, shout out to Iowa, shout out to Caitlin Clark, shout out to Angel Reese. Keep doing your thing. keep talking shit. Be you. And she said she did it for New Orleans. She did it for the girls that look like her and acted like her. And I respect that, man. I respect that she stood out for her for where she lives and the game she played. And she said, people hate on me all tournament. I don't care. It's good. Let them hate. Let them hate.
It's funny.
You know what's funny? It's always the people that are not involved that have the most feelings about it. It's always that. Is that not perfect? Like the way Twitter works right now?
And it seems like it's the people that were never serious athletes.
Right.
If you really like, what's classless? It's not classless. It's competition. And it's funny because a lot of people in the chat are talking classless. About we talk shit playing spades and Uno. We talk shit playing Scrabble. Like It's true. You talk shit all the time. You don't think you're going to talk shit at the highest level of your game? It's nationally televised game with everything on the line? Hell yeah. And important factor here, that game broke all-time records of viewership for women's college basketball.
No big deal.
So it's great for the sport. People tuned in probably at first to see if that girl could carry Iowa because she had been lighting it up all tournament. LSU's a better team. And Angel Reese is only a sophomore. So she's I don't know how early they can get drafted or whatever. But
I think she said like we're running it back. I don't know. Again, I don't know when she comes out, but she's back. She's going to defend her championship, man. And more power to him, man. More power to him. That was fun to watch. Jay.
We talk shit as fans who have nothing to do with the game.
And if you're talking shit, expect shit talk back. All facts of life.
I was just curious on Caitlin Clark. I was curious how tall she was. Do you want to guess? Don't look it up.
Okay.
She's like a shooting guard.
5'11".
That's 6 feet.
Ooh,
that's a good guess.
I was close.
Yeah, so like
that's me. That's my height.
Like you walk by a girl that's 6 feet tall, you're like, that girl's tall. And she doesn't even look tall out there. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of crazy. Remember last week we were talking about if you had to play against a fifth grader for like $5 million bucks, what would her price be? Because she'd smoke us.
Yeah. It would be if what was 10 million for an eighth grader or something like that? Or it would be like, I'd say 50 million, maybe. What do you say?
Yeah. But I don't know. Listen, I wouldn't touch that because
no, she's damn good. She's damn good.
She's real good. I played a game in high school one time, and this guy, point guard on the other team, was just in my ear talking shit the whole game, and I enjoyed it because it got me pissed off and it got me to play better. But then he started talking about my mom, and the people could see this happening. I mean, this guy going back and forth a lot, and then I was inbounding a pass on the sideline. My mom happened to be like on the bleachers right there. So, like, I had the ball in my hand, so I knew I had 5 seconds. I was like, Mom, this kid says he knows you. Just tell me right now if it's true or not. So I decided to, like, have fun with it. And she was, like, so confused. Like, I don't know what's happening. And everyone in the stands is just like, oh, God.
That is great. That is fucking great, dude. I love it. Hey, listen, again, it's part of basketball culture, talking shit. You just get used to it. And do it at the end of the game where you're not pissing off your team, that other person enough to get, like, if she pissed Caitlin Clark off enough, maybe she went for 45-50, and maybe it's a different game. She waited to the end of the game, talked her shit when the game was in hand, and that was it, man. And no refs involved, no nothing involved. It's the season's over. That's it. So,
let's keep it on basketball,
good, huh? Yeah. Hey, listen, if we want to talk about basketball here, let's take it to the next level here. So we want to talk about the NBA now. We got big things coming up with New York basketball. Knicks, Nets, both shaping up, ready to go into the playoffs. So, any of the Knicks fans out there, we want to have somebody on to kind of fill you guys in. If you're casual, get back in again, a bandwagon here. None other than Shwinny Boo. What's going on, my man? How we doing, Shwin? Nice to meet you. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. I'm good. I'm just ate dinner, relaxing, enjoying the Knicks not playing today. So.
Oh, it's a good feeling, right? It's like right before the calm before the storm. You get a nice little day off here. If you guys didn't know, Shwin is a writer for Strickland, right? Host of Pod Strickland. You guys do some good work. You guys all knowing about the Knicks, so we wanted to bring you in, kind of filling everybody. And yeah, listen.
I could hear Eli. I could just hear Eli saying, "Round
of
applause!"
Eli will give you a round of applause. A round of applause. Our biggest Knicks fan is not here today, but he wanted to be here. He gives his regards. But listen, we want you guys. We want you to fill us in here. So let's talk some Knicks. They clinched the playoffs now for their second time in 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. Seem to have locked in their place. Are we locked in at the 5th seed?
Not quite there. If the Nets lose today, they get the 5th seed. If the Knicks win tomorrow, they get the 5th seed. They just need to win one of their last 3 games. They'll be the 5 seed.
Right. So listen, it looks like they're headed towards Cleveland, a matchup where Donovan Mitchell was supposed to come here this summer, right? And it didn't work out. So now they get this. Knicks fans get to see this guy firsthand. Come to the Garden. What's your thoughts on how the Knicks looking going into the playoffs? What to expect? Fill us in on what you're thinking here.
Well, I mean, they're playing great. They're playing really good ball right now. The big question though is Julius Randle. Obviously, he hurt his ankle last week when they played Miami. So they said he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. That should be about 2 days, I think, before playoffs tip off. So depending on if they get the Saturday game or a Sunday game, he has 2-3 days after the reevaluation. We'll see. I mean, it didn't look great. He's obviously he hadn't missed a game all year, so he's not a guy who misses time. It didn't look great. So, and obviously he's not going to be doing a bunch of on-court work while he's rehabbing his injury, given the nature of it. So, it's one of those where it's like, even if he gets a clean bill of health, 2 weeks is a long time for these peak professional athletes. Is he going to be able to play the way he was playing prior to the injury? Is he going to be able to play big minutes? We don't know. But aside from that, I mean, I think Jalen Brunson's playing great. You've got all these guys now, quickly off the bench. Grimes has been really hot lately. Even Obi now in Randall's absence has picked it up. Josh Hart has been awesome since they acquired him. And Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein are really playing well. They're just completely giving them the next 48 minutes of just elite rim protection at the center position. It's all kind of clicking, but unfortunately, the 2 big questions, one being Julius Randle's health, and 2 is just RJ Barrett, who's not really been great this year.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, I mean, I got a lot of shit a couple of days ago or last week on Twitter because I said he's been putting up a lot of empty stats this year. And look, maybe that's a bit of an overreaction, but I think however people reacted to the empty stats part of it. It's like, what does that mean? And I'm
if you're not catching shit on Twitter, you're not doing anything.
Right. Well, I tend to catch shit, but people want to harp on the verbiage. It's fine, but right now he's been a below league average efficiency, below average defensive player on the wing. And that's what he's been this year. That doesn't mean he can't turn around. That doesn't mean that's what he's going to be forever. But this year, you just got to call it like you see it, and that's what he's been this year. Can he get it together before the playoffs? That would be great. If he did, that would be a massive boost for the Knicks because if you look at their rotation, he's basically been the one guy who's not really helped the team when he's on the floor this year.
Do you think it's a confidence thing or an ability thing that he just hasn't gone to the level we expected?
I personally think he's just put on too much weight. He looks way too bulky to me. He's not moving that fluidly. If you go back and look at how he looked at Duke in the first 2 years in the NBA, I'm not saying you have to put on weight. Obviously, you're gonna have to add muscle. That's not crazy, but he just looks way too bulky, way too top heavy. I'm not, a nutritionist. I'm not some, stud at the gym. I can't speak to what specifically he should do. But
don't sell yourself short, man.
Come on. There's not much there. I don't want to embarrass myself. But to me, he just looks bulky. He looks slow. He's not explosive. He's not powering through guys at the rim. He's not really capitalizing on his strength, which is his biggest advantage. I mean, that's always been his biggest advantage as a player, but you're not seeing him necessarily capitalize on it to the degree that you want. His 3-ball has been very inconsistent this year, to be generous. And again, the biggest thing is you can deal with all this offensive stuff if defensively he's giving you good effort and he's executing and all that, but his defense has not been good this year. He's just there's been too many miscommunications,
All right. Sounds
bad
like you have a
miscalls.
lot of confidence in him.
Yeah.
This is making me feel good about this.
Is it safe to say he's the X factor though?
I think this, yes, obviously the fact that he's not been good this year, if he does get it together, and look, we've seen him in December this year. He actually looked great. I thought he was about to. It looked like he was turning it around, and then he lacerated his finger. And since then, it's just been a big roller coaster with a lot more downs than ups. But yeah, you could say he's an X factor. But the other advantage, or not the advantage, but the other thing that's nice that the Knicks have is the Knicks actually have options. They have good depth.
Got some depth.
So so they can if RJ's struggling, and we've seen Tibbs do that this year, he'll bring in Emmanuel quickly for him. He'll bring in Josh Hart. He'll extend Quentin Grimes' minutes. So they have options that give them. I mean, it's a good thing. And hopefully you would hope long term it kind of that internal competition can drive RJ to improve. But for right now, I think if he's struggling, there's just no reason that you have to have him on the floor. This isn't like 2 years ago where they kind of gritted and tried really hard all their way to the fourth seed. This team is a lot more talented. I mean, the effort obviously is still there, but they're a lot more talented. They have better pieces. They have better depth. So they have options if RJ is struggling, or if any of these guys are struggling, they have options. I mean, even Jalen Brunson, who's been awesome this year and he's been consistent. We've seen Emmanuel quickly ball out when Brunson hasn't been available. And last week when they played Miami, he closed with quickly a point guard. He didn't have Brunson on the floor in that game. And that was the game that, effectively more or less, it may as well have clinched them a playoff spot. But yeah, I mean, look, they have options. And I think that's the best thing you can say about this team is that, there are any number of things that could go wrong, but if things go wrong, they have the ability to change things up. And, yeah, I mean, that's really the best thing you can say about this.
I love seeing Brunson just change this team completely. And I like to see the offense go through him as opposed to isolating Randall, which just makes me nauseous. Just watching him in isolation where it's a three getting chucked up. I just hate that about the NBA in general. But it just doesn't, it's not something you can rely on, especially in big games in the playoffs when teams are actually trying on defense. You just can't rely on that. So the way Brunson can penetrate and dish and keep everyone involved and then get a broken play and then hit Randall for a three, that's how the Knicks can actually be dangerous. I do have a question because a lot of people may not be diehard basketball fans or Knicks fans, but looking at this playoff situation, currently have the 5 seed. We'll see how it shakes out. But is there they seem to have success against Boston, who's a much better team by, I think everyone would agree. Somehow they competed well with them. Is there a path that you could see the Knicks winning a series or two? And what would those matchups be? I
mean, the Cleveland matchup is one I really like for the Knicks. I've liked it.
Them?
I like that. I've liked that one all season. I think that's a good matchup for them. Cleveland doesn't have good wings, which has kind of been one of the ways that you can hurt the Knicks this year. They don't have that. Both their backcourt, obviously Garland and Mitchell are awesome players, but they're smaller players. And the Knicks have the type of dudes who can compete with them. And we saw that last week. I mean, they went to Cleveland. Obviously, look, Cleveland didn't have Jared Allen. They didn't have Isaac Okoro. The Knicks didn't have Julius Randle. But the Knicks went there. They took their best shot, and that was an intense game. And they beat them 130-116, and they just locked them up down the stretch. And it's they won the season series against Cleveland. I like that matchup for them a lot. I don't think Cleveland's size is a problem for a lot of teams, and it'll be a problem for the Knicks too. But they can't out physical the Knicks, and the Knicks have a way better bench. Their depth is way better than Cleveland's because Cleveland. Guess what? When you trade for Donovan Mitchell, you have to give up all your depth. But the Knicks have depth, so they have options and they have flexibility. I mean, they've been playing with Randall out. They've been, using these smaller lineups that Tibbs generally hasn't used. But because he has to now, because he needs he needs, obviously you're replacing Randall was averaging 34 minutes a night, and giving you 25, 10, 4, whatever he was averaging. He has to lean into these different things that he hasn't really tried. And I think it's interesting because, with Josh Hart, I just think there's options there in terms of how you use various personnel you have. That's very interesting. So I like that matchup against Cleveland. And I mean, they're not going to play the Celtics because they can't finish at the 7th seed, and the Celtics are not going to, I think the Celtics are definitely going to be the 2 seed. And they wouldn't even theoretically see them until maybe the conference finals.
Right.
But I would have
Sixers don't scare you, do they?
No, I think they're just a good matchup for the Knicks. Like, especially when Randall is healthy, the Knicks front court is just more athletic than theirs, I think. And Robert Williams has been in and out of the lineup all year for them. And, when I've seen him at least this year, he hasn't looked quite as athletic as he's looked last season. Al Horford is still shooting great from three, but he's definitely slipped defensively. And I just think, like, I mean, again, I'm not like crunching Celtics tape every night, but their coach, Joe Mazzulla, he obviously got them off to a really hot start this year. I haven't loved a lot of the stuff I've seen from them of late. I mean, especially that last game in Boston, I thought was very weird, where he just didn't play Derek White, who's probably been like the third best player. He just didn't play him down the stretch of the game, which was bizarre. And obviously the Knicks won that game without Brunson. And they've beaten the Celtics in some interesting situations. They beat them without Brunson last game. They beat them without Mitchell Robinson their first time in Boston this year. And then they beat them at the Garden the week that they played them, or when they last played them, that same week they played them at the Garden and they beat the shit out of them then. So I just think, like, would the Knicks beat the Celtics? I would still say the Celtics are favorites, but I would like the Knicks'
They can scrap.
Yeah, I think they have a chance there.
I
think they can, but Cleveland to me is the one team in that top four that I felt like all year, basically, like, if they can get that matchup, they really like that. It's not just you have a chance or it could be competitive.
They should. You think they should win?
I don't know if they should, but it's like, if you lost in 5 games, that would be very bad to me. With the caveat being, we don't know what the situation is with Julius Randle, and that's a big deal. Like, I hear what you're saying. I agree. Like, I don't love how Randle-centric the offense can get at times when he's on the floor, and I think without him these last couple of games, you've seen, like, they're playing faster. The ball moves around a lot more.
I like that style better.
Yeah, and I do too. But in that matchup against Cleveland, like, I do think Randle presents something that is a problem for them. Like, Evan Mobley, he's destroyed him this year when they've gone up against each other. And I love Obi. This is the thing that's crazy is we literally have no idea what Obi would do in that situation, because he started 12 games. Yeah, he started 12 games over 3 years. Like, we haven't seen it. So it's pretty interesting to kind of like think about. I genuinely, like, if you told me, if Randle was healthy and we were getting this matchup, I would feel very, like, good about the Knicks' chances. And I still feel like they can do things to Cleveland that are tough for them to match up. And I don't think they should get completely beat down or anything like that. But I don't know what to expect when I just don't know. Like, again, we haven't seen Obi enough. So this is kind of like, it's like a mystery box. And
this sounds like the Rangers going into last year's playoffs. We have, like, the kid line. You don't know what these young guys are going to do until they're put in that situation.
Right.
And the lights are the brightest. You're at MSG. The crowd's going nuts. You either perform or you don't. So we're going to find out what these guys could do very shortly. Listen, the car is going to be rocking. When push comes to shove and the Knicks have a home game, they're always going to have a fighter's chance, just because the crowd's going to almost will them into another level of play. It almost feels like. So, gun to your head, no Randle. Knicks, give me a serious prediction. What do you got?
No Randle. I think the Knicks lose in 6 games. I think it's really hard without him, because you're giving up size at that point. And I think the one thing that, like, it's nice to have options, which the Knicks do have, but you still want to have that option to, like, bludgeon a team inside. And as good as Obi is, and I do think he's good, I think that how he's been used and kind of, you come in for 6 minutes each half, it's hard to really catch a rhythm. I think you see that when he plays more minutes, all of a sudden he looks like a different player. He's hitting more shots. It's not that complicated to me. But I think he's not he's not as physical as Randle. I don't think he holds up as well in the post. He's not going to control the glass at times. When Randle gives a shit, he can control the glass in a way that Obi can't. He's not going to finish through contact at the rim the way Randle can. So I just think over a 7-game series, if you're playing against
playoff basketball,
and you're playing Jared Allen, those guys are huge. Like, you lose the margin just enough, and I think the Knicks probably losing 6 if Randle can't go. If Randle is healthy, like, I would expect that to go the distance. Honestly, I think that's a 7-game series.
We'll have to do some Mr. Miyagi stuff on his ankle. That's what you're saying. A little bit of this, a little bit of that,
maybe, yeah,
and get that ankle ready to go, man.
Knicks fans, go follow Shwinny Poo. You see his handle there. Give him a follow. Great to meet you, my man. Thank you for hopping on with us.
Absolutely. Thanks
Go
for having me.
Knicks. I don't like your prediction, but I do like you. You're a nice guy. But I think Knicks can win this thing in 6. That's what I think.
Hey, listen, we appreciate your knowledge regardless. Thank you, Shwin, for coming on here, man. And if you guys aren't listening to Strickland Pod, go listen, subscribe. These guys are great at what they do.
All right. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Cheers, man.
You too, man. So hey, listen, we got our Knicks talk in. I'll be putting money on them because I like when the Knicks are relevant. Like as a Nets fan, I don't know what we're gonna do. We're probably going up against the Sixers round one. It's gonna be a tough series. So I told Eli, if the Knicks could win 2 series, I'm transferring over to a Knicks fan. But I'll be rooting for you guys series 1. I want to see you guys.
We appreciate your support.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm a New York guy.
You're a revival guy, which means you're a New York sports guy.
Things have changed around here, man. I don't root against the Knicks like I used to as a little kid. As a Jordan fan back in the day, I hated the Knicks. But now,
I thoroughly enjoyed the Jason Kidd Nets. I went to a few of those games.
Man.
That was a great team. Kenyon Martin, Richard Jefferson, Kerry Kittles.
Oh,
I love that team. I was a big Kerry Kittles guy. He's what drew me in.
Oh my God, the best. Hey, listen. So let's talk about some other things real quick before we get to some Giants talk for everybody. We're going to talk about what we have going on this weekend. A beautiful Easter weekend. I hope you have some good family times planned. I don't know what you got planned for that, but in the midst of all that, you got Masters just to ease you into the holiday weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If you like gambling on it, it's fun. You watch the Masters? Are you pumped for it? I mean, it's golf's Super Bowl, right? Like, come on.
Let us know in the chat if you guys are because I never used to be into golf. I never thought I would enjoy watching it on TV, and now I definitely do. There's also a great Netflix documentary. It's called Full Swing. Did you watch that?
Oh my God, got me so amped up.
Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. We see not only the crazy life that these guys live, private jets and all that crap, but the actual pressure that they're under is pretty crazy, and it's a really cool documentary if you're into it at all.
I like that dude that partied. He just said, "Hey, I'm cool being 70th in the world. I'm gonna have my time on tour." And he just gets drunk all the time and maybe fucks around and wins a tournament.
He's the best. That guy's great. He's like, somebody has to be the 70th best golfer in the world. Why not me? That was like my favorite line in the whole thing.
This is classic.
So last year, I think Masters Sunday was not Easter. It was just like it was something else. And my friends and I think there was like 8 of us. We got a golf simulator. We rented out like 2 bays next to each other. And we had, they blasted on the TVs there while you're playing this virtual round. And it was a great time, but obviously you can't do that this Sunday. But I like it. It's great background television.
Yeah, Masters nap a little bit.
That's a dad vibe right there. Yeah.
We crossed that threshold. Or just catch a couple of Z's.
Leave me alone.
I can't wait to be that guy just sit on the couch. Old man noises, take a in and out of naps here and there. Man.
You can't be far off from being that guy.
I know.
I want to see it this Sunday. I want to see.
But listen, I'm gonna little pick for everybody. John Rahm, throw your money on that guy. He's ready to win. He's a bomber. John Rahm, put some money on him. At least top 5, if not winning.
Yeah, I gotta transition into our next topic for you.
Yeah.
Our main man Jerry from Giants Insider. He's got a question for you because we want to touch on the Jets real quick before we get to the Giants. If they were in the playoffs, would you root for them?
So listen, my hatred for the Yankees back in the day, the Jets back in the day, was mostly my friends. I hated my friends who were Yankee fans and Jets fans that talk shit back to me. We used to scrap. So I hated the Jets. I hated the Yankees back in the day. But now we're older. We're a little bit more sophisticated. Not too much more sophisticated, but a little bit more. My hatred for these teams have slowed. So I would root for them to win a series, maybe a game or 2. But I don't want them to win in Super Bowls and shit like that. Like I wouldn't be able to go that far. I would root for them to just keep the excitement in New York going. It's good for us, good for the city. But maybe AFC Championship and then a complete failure after that.
It's funny because you think about the people who are fans of that team and how they would react, and that's pretty much what you base it on. At least
Right,
for
exactly.
me, like the Jets, I wouldn't have that big of a problem with them being good and winning a Super Bowl even, but like the Devils, I can't have that.
No.
And it's like I'm
Agreed.
thinking of the same people, because they seem to be Jets and Devils fans. But the Giants, if it's outside of the division, I would even say it's really just Dallas and Philly that I just despise to my core. What did he just say?
Yeah. He said Jerry's like, I'm 48 and not sophisticated. Listen, I kind of oversold myself. This guy's not. Does this look like a sophisticated face to you? Backwards hat and just sitting in my. Let's go. But listen, my hatred again was more for the fans. Now they backed off. We've all calmed down a little bit. I like New York teams succeeding because it's good for every sport that we. Honestly, when everybody says like, fuck New York, this and that. New York is good for any sport. When we are in the playoffs in hockey, in basketball, in football, baseball, we are good for the sport. There's more eyes on it, more passion, and man, we need a fucking championship though.
That's why. I mean, this is why we started this, guys. New York sports has been desperate for a revival. It's been way too quiet. You see these other rival cities; they got a championship every other year. They got a parade for a different sport every other year. We've had nothing. Giants won the Super Bowl 2011, 2012. That's been it, guys. Yeah. And I know you don't count the MLS Cup last year.
Jerry's right here.
Jerry's just getting a lot of FaceTime here, Jerry.
Today. We love you, baby. But yeah, you're right. Rex and that brash attitude, the Jets fans took on his personality, and they just came out and
the Brandon Jacobs,
good, and they let you know about it. So you're right on that front. That was the last of the, and that was like right when me and my friends were in our 20s, and we were just the most hateable dickheads in the whole world. So like. That's when my true Jets hate was at its highest, probably. But since he's gone,
so you enjoyed watching them crumble in back-to-back AFC championships,
the AFC championships. That it warmed my heart at that time. But now not so much. I want the Jets to do decent.
I wonder if it'll ever happen. But when the Jets did that was in between the Giants Super Bowls, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was right. We kind of interlocked. Yeah,
right. So I mean, we weren't that far off from having the Jets and Giants have a chance at that happening, a Super Bowl with Jets and Giants, and that would be beyond epic.
And hey, listen, we're both got two decently young teams, good talent.
One team is living on a prayer, though.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that prayer.
Let's talk about it. The diva.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Aaron Rodgers.
What are they talking about at this point? It was like 3 weeks ago that he said he wants to go to the Jets. Just what is the problem?
Well, let's clarify what he said. He said he will play for the Jets. He didn't want to go to the Jets. Yeah, it's just Aaron Rodgers. It's what he does. He's kind of just make a decision already. Just make it like I don't know who's holding this up right now. It's just agonizing. I thought he was signed like about 5 different times. And it turns out every time I come back the next week, he's not actually signed yet, not traded yet. Just get this fucking shit over with already, man.
Dude, why the Jets have not just gone for Lamar Jackson is so beyond me.
Listen, what Joe Douglas, their GM, said was kind of it made sense. It was they've gone too far down this path already to now pull out and it's kind of, if you still want Rodgers, it's kind of disingenuous to him.
Right, but everyone caters to Rodgers constantly. Right. It's always what does the baby need? What does the baby need? Let's get him his receivers. Let's make sure he's super comfortable. Give him as much time as he needs. Like, what the fuck? If I'm the Jets, know what it is. If the Jets were able to quietly find out what they could do for Lamar, I bet they would have poked around. But like, that nothing. It gets leaked.
Oh, the second
Shefty would have it in 5 minutes. And it would be, out there. Then Aaron Rodgers would be like, "No, I'm not going."
Yeah, listen, but imagine this world where this Rodgers thing somehow doesn't happen now. Like the Jets have put all their eggs in that basket. They've gotten all his guys. They set it up perfectly for him. If he turns around and just heals, and just says "fuck you" to the Jets,
and they're stuck with Zach Wilson.
Oh my God, the shitstorm that will rain upon the Jets by the New York media will be unforeseen because they're ready to go. That roster's ready to go. If you putting Zach Wilson at the helm of that fucking thing with Salah's job basically on the line, he'll be in the hot seat. man, that would be some bad news, man. Bad news.
All right. It is time as we bring this thing home. Our beloved Giants. Happy draft month. Did we drink to that? Happy draft month, pal.
Yeah, we're so close. So fucking close, baby.
We're gonna welcome
me
some
and you are gonna get to hang out, right? It's gonna be
we got to do it again.
Now.
Last year, maybe I'll find that video from last year.
Yes,
but granted, it was a lot more action because we had the 5.
It's gonna be a longer night,
and like
slower.
The first 4 picks were so important because I ran through every scenario in my head and it pretty much worked out best case for what I wanted at the time.
Right.
But to have 2 picks in the top 7, there was a lot of action. But
it's
at
good
25,
to not be there, though, right?
We were rolling a camera. We just got live reactions throughout the first several picks and just made for a great video. So I'll stir that up now that it's draft month.
It's good to not be there, though, right? No, we weren't thinking about mock drafts for like 6 months now. Like we didn't talk about mock drafts until after the season was over. We're just now getting fully integrated. Like, there's always the Twitter, the draft guys who they know their shit all year round. But like the past couple of years, we've been looking at mock drafts in October, thinking about who we're going to draft because we're going to have a top 5 pick, top 10 pick. Now we don't have to worry about that. Like I was talking about the Jalen Carter, pick, how I don't envy whoever's going to draft him. He's either going to be a star or I could see him just being a total bust. But you know what? Giants don't have to worry about that this year. It's not a decision we have to make. We're outside the top 10. Yeah. We're picking in the 20s, boys. That's what we want to be, man. That's where we want to be going forward.
That's a good
place to be. But we will be having second annual People's Mock Draft on New York Revival in 2 weeks.
Talk about it.
Get your vote in. Tell us if you want in. We'll assign you a team. We're going to do the top 10 and then an obligatory number 25 Giants pick. If you get money, there's going to be a pay structure. We'll let you guys know. If you nail the pick, you get some cash. We went 0 for 10 last year because it was a very unpredictable year. That's how it works, right? Like if one guy goes out of place, the whole draft is turned upside down.
Completely.
So we will have a People's Mock Draft. Let us know if you're interested. If you're a draft guy that wants to make some money, let us know. I'm happy about it. I love it.
It is good to have a new GM in charge. If we crush this draft, we're going to be in business. And if we get a little healthier, a little more lucky on the health front, and we nail this draft, Giants are back in business. If Beavers comes back and somehow just picks up where he left off in camp and what we were seeing from him with this line, we have now it's starting to come together. And now we didn't even get to the draft. It's just going to be really exciting to see how this unfolds. But our boy DJ, being the leader that he is.
I want to expand on what you just said, though. Yeah. Last year's class basically was
almost a wash.
Yeah, it was an absolute wash. Everybody was injured. Wandale was injured. Evan Neal even got injured. Tibbs was injured at the beginning of the year. And you go down the line, Flott, McKeithen, the names go. Beavers, who was supposed to be probably our most talented linebacker.
Dude, that was a steal. Was that 5th or 6th? We got him so late in the draft.
Yeah. Bellinger with the eye thing. Like, are you kidding me?
What is that?
I don't even understand.
Who breaks an eye socket with a fucking helmet on?
That draft class was cursed and cursed. Let's just pray to the football injury guys that because it'll be like a whole new rookie class coming in now. Belton was even hurt a little bit.
Evan Neal missed time and struggled. So now you're getting him coming back as a sophomore. It's just going to be.
Azuda's might be our starting guard.
Yeah.
So it's going to be great. Got new turf, like Bill was saying out there. I see you, Bill. Listen, a good draft class this year, coupled with the health of last year's class, that's a lot of young infusion of talent right there, man.
Wandale Robinson, arguably a reach pick. A lot of people thought that was a reach pick. They were just at a big game. They were just introducing him to the offense, and he's gone.
Everybody was so concerned about how they peppered him with targets that game they got hurt. He had 13 targets, 9 catches, over 100 yards, a touchdown. He was just gonna blow up.
I couldn't wait to see that kid go, and I don't know. I didn't like that everyone was like, "That's a shitty pick" and all that. Like,
I agree.
They picked him for a purpose. Let's see what they want to do with him in the offense, and we didn't get to see it, but we're going to. They're going to line him up everywhere. It's going to be fun.
100%. Listen, one more note on the Giants. We had Deion Jones in recently. Very good, a former All-Pro linebacker, a guy that can run, a guy that's very good in coverage. Does he have anything left in the tank? I don't know. He played a little bit with the Browns last year. They had him in for a talk. What I will say is that if they can get anything left out of this guy, I don't know how much he's got left in the tank, but if he's got even an E, like if he's even like quarter tank, maybe, like that'll help. Two ways actually. It helps give Beavers more time to get healthy, to get more acclimated back into the defense. You could work his way into it. If by maybe week 8, Jones shows he is in fact done, you could give Beavers the keys after that. But he could run, man. He plays well in coverage. And Okereke, if there's something that Okereke, sorry.
I look forward to you doing that all year. I know.
Yeah, and
Okereke.
Right. Okereke.
I care, okay.
I think so. Okereke is a guy that plays against the run. He's more downhill. He can play coverage, but a guy that could play coverage better next to him and has speed going backwards. That's a perfect combination of those two linebackers. And if he plays, he's got anything left, it's a good move. Ashawn Robinson, another guy we had didn't sign yet, would be a run-stuffing defensive tackle, another good move. Two big parts of this defense. I'm thinking they're waiting until after the draft, though. They want to see how it shakes out. Maybe a good defensive tackle falls to them. Maybe a good inside linebacker that they like falls to them. That'll be your plan B. The veterans, you could sign them later. They probably aren't going to be worth a lot. So
I'm getting excited. It's draft season, and our main man Tana is going to hop on with us before the draft at some point. So stay tuned for that. We love Tana. Love having him on. Jerry's just all up in your goodies tonight.
Jerry's all over me, like right on rice, man. Come on, you know what? That's not me though. I got to get Okereke's name down. I'm better
as a professional in the industry.
I just haven't used his name in a while. I gotta keep saying it, like when I go right before I go to sleep. I'm just Okereke. Osmosis into the brain. I gotta get it right.
But
it took me a while to get OC's name down, but
this is where we're going. DJ organizing the guys in Arizona for a workout. You love to see it. David Sills, of course, we're all real excited about David Sills this year. It's gonna be.
I know Monty. I see Monty out there. I know he's excited about David Sills. Listen, if David Sills doesn't see a snap this year, it's a good thing, man. It's a good thing. I love David Sills.
They must just like him. I don't know.
Listen, great vet. But it's a guy like Marcus Johnson and David Sills. If they don't see the field,
it's probably for the best.
Joe Shane has done his job. He stacked the room with good vets, and But to get back to Art Stapleton's tweet and what's going on, love to see DJ running this thing again. Is there a name that sticks out for you that you love to see there that's missing or that is there?
X going to give it to you. I'm with X on this one. The fact that Saquon, because there's a lot of talk, is he going to hold out? Is he really pissed off that he got the tag? He's there and he's working. So you love to see that. That either is telling you he has no plans to hold out and he's going to try and crush on the tag, or he feels like they're going to get a deal done and he's close to it. But either way, he doesn't want to miss the workouts.
Right.
And you just love to see that that's where his head is at. I truly believe Saquon has 3 very high level years left. And I want him to be a Giant for those years. I don't want to overpay, and I know he's a running back, but I want his next 3 years to be in Giants blue. I do want that.
God, you're so right, man. And if there was ever, because we had this conversation, one of our last 2 episodes, is Saquon going to sit out, and what would you be okay with it? And a lot of people out here said, listen, if he's a leader in his team, he should be out there. And man, he's going to it's not even OTAs yet. And he's out there working with Daniel when he doesn't really need to. He is showing up. He is a leader. Like you said, he's either got a long-term contract or he's going to go balls to the wall and just ball out this year. Imagine a fully motivated, fully healthy contract year Saquon trying to put his second year back-to-back together for that big payday. Oh, man.
Not only just that, Spiro, all of you said is extremely important, but it's also with a smart offense and all these things. Like, it's actually the best situation him or DJ has ever been in. DJ is not going to a new offensive coordinator for once. That's not named Jason Garrett. So like this is
we don't speak of.
The offense doesn't have to start over. Not losing Kafka was huge. I didn't think he was qualified to be a head coach yet anyway, but I'm glad that he's back. I'm glad that they were able to get both coordinators back. I think they're going to be dangerous, man. I know that it is what it is. Our division's really good, right?
Yes.
We have one of the best divisions in the league. Cowboys and Philly still have a really good roster. They both have good rosters. They're going to be competitive. But if we could start to battle in those division games, then you really know we're on our way. We can't be getting washed in the division constantly.
Agreed.
It's going to be harder and harder to make the wild card because it's going to be hard to win this division. You're going to have to earn it to win this division.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Listen, the talent is improving. It was bottom 10, in my opinion, last year. We are starting to close ground on the Dallases of the world. The Eagles lost a lot this year. We're trying to close ground on them. How much ground? We don't know yet, but don't get blown out by 30-plus points. Don't get blown out by 3 TDs when it matters. And I think that's what Dable's building here. He's building a solid squad, second-year system for everybody involved. I'm psyched. And I will say this. Does it bother you at all that Waller's not here? In these workouts, or doesn't even register?
It doesn't, just because. And I think Tana tweeted it earlier today. It kind of just quoted something from Darren Waller. We pretty much said he's going to turn back he wants to be ready he wants to be 100% in camp. So he's not going to go nuts in April. I mean, I wouldn't hate it if he was there. Just to be there, you know what I mean? Right. Like I wouldn't hate that, but it's a non-issue at this point.
He needs to be there in September, October, November, December. Like it doesn't really matter. If he doesn't see a preseason snap, I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it. I gotta be honest with you. Let this guy work during the practices, work during camp, and wrap him in fucking bubble wrap.
If you were Waller. And again, I don't hold it against him because I understand he's got his own program to get back to 100%. Yeah. As long as that works, then I don't give a shit. But if it were me, I would take a trip to Arizona and start bonding with these guys, start meeting my teammates, right? Go party a little bit. Like
I agree. I agree.
I'm gonna he doesn't. I don't think he parties anymore. But
yeah, well, let's hope not. Let's hope not.
Those days are behind you, Darren. Stay clean, stay strong, stay focused.
Exactly. Let's go. Oh man. But listen, I want to close it out with a couple of segments here. We're going to go. We are not just a sports podcast here. We're not a sports show. We are also an entertainment show too. So let's entertain the people. Now I want to get into a topic that we talk about a lot. What got you pissed? What got you pissed, FA? What got you pissed this week? Tell me. Anything on your mind?
Yeah, it happened an hour ago. I said I was very excited that I picked up a Costco t-shirt tonight, right? It's the first Knicks article of clothing I bought in this is a John Starks jersey, not a Josh Hart jersey. But their names kind of do sound the same. They wear the same number. But I was excited to get this t-shirt. And Charlie, our good friend Charlie, the most optimistic Giants fan, DJ lover. We all know him. Ray of Sunshine. He called me a bandwagon fan because I think he misunderstood that as if I bought a t-shirt just all out of the blue because the Knicks all of a sudden are good. First of all, the Knicks are they might win a playoff series. So you're not a bandwagon fan unless your team's winning championships. Okay, the Knicks haven't done a goddamn thing. I lived through the 90s Knicks with how good they were and not winning a championship, and through that all, I think that was peak NBA. But I've always been a Knicks fan, but it has been decades since they have motivated me to buy a t-shirt, and that's all it's saying.
Consistently relevant. You're right. And so Charlie, get off my man's back. He's out there. Listen, we're not diehard fans here either. Like let's call it spade a spade. Your closet's not full of Knicks shit ready to go, but you're repping the team. They're hot right now. We're on the wagon together, and you're repping. So
I'm excited. I was excited to get a Knicks shirt because there was a reason to get a Knicks shirt. It doesn't mean I wasn't a Knicks fan, Charlie. And I'll take this up with you on the side, all right, Charlie?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
What got you pissed, man?
I'll tell you what, man. What got me pissed is these damn Yankee fans let that the gall. These so they're playing the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Yankees are in the middle of basically they have the game in hand. Stadium's quiet. And what happens? What breaks out in the bleachers over there? An Eagles chant, an EAGLES Eagles chant. I heard it loud and clear several times. Not only was there not a brawl, there was nary a boo. Like
not a boo.
Yankee fans, show some fucking pride. Like you let the goddamn Eagles fans come in there chanting Eagles chants in your face while their Phillies team is losing, mind you, and they're just making it loud and clear, dude. Step up, boo the shit out of them, drown out that damn Eagles chant, and fucking show some pride for New York here. Come on,
you're
bro.
absolutely right. You know those. Yeah, I mean that's disgusting.
I was so pissed off about that.
I'm
not even a Yankee
sick
fan.
of Philly. I'm just so sick of Eagles fans.
Yeah, you know what? Let's get this shit over with.
So the chat is chiming in, right? Like, what got you pissed in the chat? Jerry said Spiro saying Okariki.
That's on video for a long time.
Jay's got a good one. Daycare payment. You talked about that today. That's a swift kick in the nuts.
It's a mortgage payment, and I wish I would have known better.
The Ewing finger roll. That.
Hey, you know what? Listen, Richard, you're bringing up bad vibes when we're just going into the playoffs here. Let's not bring that up again.
If there is a Nick that would do the finger roll, it's definitely Randall.
Oh my God!
If that's gonna happen to any Nick, it's Randall.
I low key, as I'm not Nick fan right now, want to see what the Knicks can do without him. I kind of want to see. It feels like the team is jiving a little better. They like each other a little better. I don't know. Randall always pisses me off. I don't like his fucking attitude. But it just feels like they're having more fun out there, right?
I'm kind of with you. Like he's a stud, but I don't like it. Like I wouldn't buy his jersey. You know, he's not my favorite player on my team. It's not that guy. Like I like 5 other Knicks more than him at least.
Yeah.
Reggie Miller always got you pissed.
Yeah, he's man. That was peak 90s basketball though. That's when basketball was fun. Let's make basketball fun again. Knicks got to win a playoff series. Rangers got to win their playoff series.
Let's go. What
we are in right now, like I said, is the dog days of sports right now. The playoffs haven't started yet. We're chomping at the bit for Rangers and Knicks playoffs. The draft hasn't started yet. We're chomping at the bit for that. So, like, we're just like, it's not pent up.
We're trying to help get you through. Energy. We're trying to help get you through.
Rangers have a chance, by the way. Lewis brought this up. What got him pissed was Rangers losing to the Devils. We all were pissed off about that.
I was there. It sucked.
But they have a chance still. They're only 3 points back of the Devils to maybe get to second place. But it's shaping up to be a Rangers Devils first round playoff series.
I mean, that would be great. I just want to see a better version of the Rangers show up. Like the first period.
They're not there.
Oh my God, dude! That it was just they weren't even there. They just were not present in that game. It was dreadful.
Saturday's version versus the Capitals to show up. Not
light it up. Be confident. Be like, there's just too many stars. The Rangers have stars. Yes. They have so many good players and they have depth. Like, be that team. And I want to see that version. In the playoffs,
we talked about this too. There's another level for this team to get to. That's in my opinion, that's the exciting part. Like, they're not even close to their peak yet. So, if there's another level to unlock, if they can get to that, they didn't reach it till after the first round of last year's playoffs. They didn't really start clicking until halfway through Carolina. If they click again, man, they got all the stars to make the run. They got all the stars, like you said. So let's see.
Another segment we love here is what was he thinking? Right? And this does not have to be sports related. This one is loosely tied to sports. But it can be a clip of anything. We're like, man, what was he thinking? So I've seen Spiro drink 21 beers and be okay. I don't know what this guy drank, but I want you to have a look at this. And the song is great too, but just have a look at
perfect video.
Imagine actually doing this. You go to a ball game. You're in the general area where you're getting snacks, getting beers, people everywhere. Imagine doing this.
Roll out the barrel. We'll have a barrel of fun too. Yeah,
Can you imagine being that drunk where you just whip it out in the middle, not even up against the wall, which would be.
He was thinking, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it to the bathroom. I'm not going to make it. So I'm going to just set up shop here in the middle of the fucking.
Bro.
Oh, my God. Dude.
How do you not lean up against a wall? I just can't even imagine that. Just fearless of who's walking by, what they're thinking, what they're saying.
Zero fucks given. That is, if there is a zero fucks given part in the dictionary, like, that guy's face, like when he's looking around, that's it. He just gave no fucks. But
Spiro, it's your lucky day. You want to know why?
Why?
Because we have a bonus. What was he thinking? All right. And this one is fucking haunting and almost impossible. And tell me what this guy was thinking. Just watch the guy sitting on the back of his pickup truck here. Gets up, walks away completely fine. Completely fine.
My man just saw his life flash. You could see it in his face. It was blurry, but you saw his life. He's like, holy shit, my life flashed before my eyes. I've never seen it. The car was taken out underneath.
Dude, it was taken out under him. He was unscathed. He was in a high-speed crash, and he was completely unscathed. He just walked away.
That guy was living fucking. He should have lived large that night, man. You do all the drugs. You just have yourself a time because you've lived through something that most people 99 out of 100 times you're dying probably.
Because obviously the car behind was either asleep or drunk or what? Because he just drove directly. Maybe it was the guy that pissed at the game on his way home. That's probably what happened.
That's fucking wild. And listen, that's again, someone said that's a life-changing moment right there. My man's life changed right before his eyes.
Richard
and he's like, I'm going to sober up. I'm going to be a better man now. You see him, just think, you can hear him saying these things.
He went right to church. He stopped drinking that night. He changed his life around. This is fun, Spiro. Always good hanging out with you, buddy. We miss you, Eli. Come on back to us. But stay tuned for the People's Mock Draft. We're gonna give you guys some money to get the draft picks correct. That's gonna
show
be
us
fun.
your chops here. Come on, bring your fucking best picks out. Everybody, we're gonna sign teams to you. Go make some money, people. Come on.
We've got, what else do we have going on? Tana's going to join us before the Giants draft. We're going to talk about predictions and scenarios and what we would like to see as that gets closer. So we got a lot of fun things coming. Rangers and Knicks and Nets all getting ready for the playoffs. It's exciting. Revival, if you don't know, Revival's got merch out. We're going to show you the merch right now. But on behalf of Eli Rax and Mr. Glass half full.
Furry full.
Mr. Furry. I looked at your face and I said, furry. We love you.
Furry.
New York Revival.
Love you guys.